today's lecture, we are going to talk about the poem which is Flowers Are Red. Though it's a poem, but it's actually a music written by Harry Chapin. So let's know more about this author, the poet, or the musician. So let's know about the background of this musician. Harold Forster Chapin, that is his full name, otherwise known as Harry Chapin, was an American singer, a songwriter, and a philanthropist, best known for his folk song and also his folk rock songs. It is also important to understand that uh, Harry Chapin achieved a worldwide success in the 1970s and also become one of the most popular artists and highest paid performer. Chapin is also one of the best charting musical artists in the United States. Chapin usually described himself as a third-rate folk singer because he has so many criticisms. Many critics criticize his personality because of his nature. So he usually addressed himself or described himself as a third-rate folk singer and was also a product of the 1950s. He was born on December 7th, 1942, as a second son of Jim Chapin, a jazz drummer. They also have a band. The band includes Tommy Dorsey and Woody Herman. From the time they were in grammar school, Harry and his younger brothers, Tom and Steve, they performed together in various groups. Even they have a music band of their own. Harry at first was playing trumpet and later switched to become a guitarist. Um, Now let's talk a little bit about his education. Harry was uh, dropped out of Air Force Academy and attended to join architectural school for a few months, and this actually helped him in writing many of the music as well because the for art it requires imagination. So architecture, the learning of architecture, the discipline architecture has helped him a lot in developing his imagination skills and a lot. In 1969, he was nominated for an Academy Award for Legendary Champions, a documentary that explores the lives and battles of boxing's great heavyweights. But Harry was completely confused about his life, what he actually wanted to become. And Harry's personal life, we can find that this was reflected a search for identity or a search for direction and rootedness until he became a musical performer for a full time or consider musical performer as a performance as a full time profession for him. Now it is important to understand Chapin more than this. It's a musician and all, but he's also a philanthropist, right? So Chapin is well known for his humanitarian nature that moved mankind towards positive thinking and also action. He always stand up for a cause, and the Harry Chapin Foundation was a result of it. Though he is best known for his activism, some of his activities include hunger strike and hunger end or the end hunger. Also, he was also a member of the Cambodia Crisis Committee and also raised money for the Public Interest Research Group and Consumer Action Law. Many of Chapin's songs entail a search for identification. Even I, as mentioned previously in the previous slide, that he was confused about what he actually wanted to be, that lack of direction, that search for direction. So you can find that this was closer related or was also reflected in most of his poems, where we can find that he was searching for an identity or an identification or the identity crisis is one among the theme in most of his poems. And also, it is important to understand that, as I mentioned before, he was also a product of the 1950s, and America was actually at the verge of changes. So these changes actually created or reflected um, uh, in many of uh, American society, and especially during the late 1960s. Harry Chapin described himself as an existentialist who is in search of self and also directed by the inner reactions, which leads to a pervasive logic. But he believed that because the world is changing day by day, and because of this, he believed that people should, because of this rapid changes, one should look within himself and also at the same time must discover a meaning, an inner meaning about one's own existence, and this before adapting to the changes. So this is what actually Harry Chapin believes, and this is one among his ideals, that one should look within and also try to find or discover a meaning for himself. And this is what actually one of his most important ideal with regard to his existence, and this is also reflected in many of his poems as well. Harry Chapin attempted to emphasize both the musical and the lyrical qualities of each of his composition, though it's a scenes-play poem, but it actually has a music within it. So each of his composition is very musical, and though the lyrical composition is inputted with a musical quality in it. So now let's talk about, because this particular session is mainly on Flowers I've Read, which is written by Harry Chapin. So let's talk about this poem, this story of, or sorry, the poem about a child, a little child who got confused because of his two teachers. So here we can say that this can be a criticism towards the old school and the new school, or it can also be education, like how one impose a child and leads to a confused identity, that leads to a confused identity towards the end. So in both ways we can read this or analyze this particular poem, The Flowers Are Red. So this song mainly tells the story of a little boy who, on the first day of the school, started drawing pictures on flowers and leaves. So the teacher has given certain instructions about how to draw this flower and how to draw the leaves as well. But the main instruction, which she said, that the flowers are red in color and the leaves should be green. Though so the child got confused because there are many colors in this world, especially on a rainbow. If you see the rainbow, you know that the rainbow has so many colors, 7 colors in it. So then why can't we use all those colors? Even there are many flowers which has different colors in it. So why can't we use all those colors? Why can't we paint our flowers as we want to? But the teacher was not ready and willing to accept what the boy wants to explain. But the teacher also punished him, and finally the child has to agree to what the teacher demanded from him, that he started drawing and agree with the teacher by saying that the flowers are red in color and the green leaves are green in color. So finally he agreed to the teacher's demand. But after a certain period of time, as the time passed by, the child, her father got transferred, and he also got an opportunity to change the school, and he moved to a new school in a different city. And in that city, in that school, he met another teacher, the drawing teacher, and there are certain descriptions regarding the drawing teacher as well. But later, the teacher also asked the child to draw a flower and also green leaves, and sorry, and also leaves. Uh, so the child didn't see any other colors, but the child, because he was taught by the previous teacher that he has to draw or paint the flower in red and the leaves should be green. So he started using red and green for his drawing, and suddenly the teacher mentioned that why can't you think about something else, because there are different colors of flowers. When you go outside you can find different colors and different flowers in different colors, so why can't you use all these colors in your painting? So the child got completely confused in this point of time, because the previous teacher said that the flower is red and the leaf should be green, and now this teacher is saying that there are many colors and different for flower. So why can't we paint in that way? So the child is completely confused as a result of it, and finally he repeated to the teacher that the flowers are red and the leaves are green in color. So this is how the poem ends. But yes, of course, this is a beautiful poem, and I'm sure I want all of you to listen to this music, which is composed and just sung by Harry Chapin himself. So let's um, read this poem. The little boy went first day of school. He got some crayons and he started to draw. He put colors all over the paper, for colors was what he saw. And the teacher said, "What are you doing, young man?" "I'm painting flowers," he said. She said, "It's not the time for art, young man. And anyway, flowers are green and red. There's a time for everything, young man, and a way it should be done. You have got to show concern for everyone else, for you are not the only one." And she said, "Flowers are red, young man, and green leaves are green. There's no need to see flowers any other way than they always have been seen." The second section of this poem. But the little boy said, "There are so many flower colors in the rainbow, so many colors in the morning sun, so many colors in the flower, and I see every one." "Well," the teacher said, "you're sassy. There's ways that things should be, and you will paint flowers the way they are. So repeat after me." And she said, "Flowers are red, young man, and green leaves are green. There's no need to see flowers any other way than they way they always have been seen." But the little boy said, "There are so many flowers in the rain, colors in the rainbow, so many colors in the morning sun, and so many colors in the flower, and I see every one." The teacher put him in a corner. She said, "It's for your own good, and you won't come out till you get it right, and are responding like you should." Well, finally he got lonely. Frightened thoughts filled his head, and he went up to the teacher, and this is what he said. And he said, "Flowers are red and green leaves are green. There's no need to see flowers any other way than the way they always have been seen." Time went by like it always does. And they moved to another town, and the little boy went to another school, and this is what he found. The teacher was smiling. She said, "Painting should be fun, and there are so many colors in a flower, so let's use everyone." But that little boy painted flowers in neat rows of green and red. And when the teacher asked him why, this is what he said. And he said, "Flowers are red and green leaves are green. There's no need to see flowers any other way than the way they always have been seen." So this is how the poem ends. And with the identity crisis, the child got completely confused what is right and what is wrong, which should be accepted, which should be denied. And as I mentioned, this also has an underlying meaning, because there was a period of changes in the American societies, and people are confused and puzzled due to the changes that are happening around because of the technologies and also consumerism. So it was a period where people are completely confused with their own lifestyle as well. So it also will be related to the the society and the changes that are happening around. But in this particular poem, it's written in a very simple and plain language. But it is important to understand the poem mainly intends also criticize the old and the modern school of education, and you can find the modern school is far more liberal than the old school, which guides this, which make the child confused that you have to see only two colors around and there's no need to see other colors. But the modern school says that there are so many colors and you have to think and interpret in your way how to draw this color, how to draw this painting. So this way, this poem actually teaches us a good lesson to all the readers, and it actually this is what actually makes Harry Chapin the most important and the most humanitarian songwriter of the time. I just want to summarize it again to make it a little more easy. The song tells the story of a little boy who, on the first day of the school, started drawing pictures of flowers using many different colors. So the teacher is very angry, so she actually wants the child to draw in two colors, and the child is not ready to listen to it. But later, he has to agree to what her demand was, where he finally agrees to draw the pictures in red and green. But in the second half of this poem, we can find that he saw a different teacher, a teacher with a modern outlook, and she is having a smile on her face. And she also said that there are different colors around, and you have to paint. And painting is also an activity of fun. So you have to use all the colors because the rainbow has so many colors. So why can't we use all the colors? And also flowers are different colors also, so why can't we use all this? And the child now got confused because previously he completely accepted that, but the previous teacher was not ready to accept it. So now he just stick to what the previous teacher taught because otherwise he will get a punishment. But here also he just repeated what the previous teacher forced him to say or admit that the flowers are red and green leaves are green. There is no need to say any other colors around. So he is going on repeating. So this actually shows the child accepted this cramping of his style, and when he changed the school, his new teacher was um, horrified by the child's rigidity and also the lack of creativity. But he was not like that. He was very creative and he was very, um, uh, no, he was completely accepted by the changes. But when the previous teacher forced him and he just become rigid. But this actually surprises the new teacher, and she was completely she also tries to make him understand, but he is not willing to understand this time. Because she thinks that she will also punish him if he didn't listen to what the previous teacher has explained. So this also talks about the imagination skill as well, because the history of the imagination, it is we know that it is very ambiguous and ambivalent. In such a situation, how one sees art, how one visualizes art, that also, because most of the critics consider this common sense and reason as an enemy to art. So Harry Chapin is also criticizing this through this particular part. So ultimately, imagination is one of the most important and the central theme that connects Harry Chapin and this particular poem. So the imagination plays a very important role. Now, move further to the last section of this particular topic, which is on Harry Chapin. He was actually killed in a in a car crash, actually, and this many radio stations across they all broadcasted musical tributes to Chapin. So this he died in the year 1981. So this was no, engraved on his tomb, which says, "Oh, if a man tried to take his time on earth and prove before he died what one man's life could be worth, I wonder what would happen to this world." So this way, Harry Chapin is. poem, Flowers on Music, and we can say the music, Flowers are Red, is very, is very musical, but also uses a very loud message through the simple and simple poem. So that's actually the most important perspective of this particular poem, which is will wind up, and we'll discuss the next more topics relating to Harry Chapin's. Um,